Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to Real People Real Estate, where we sit down right here with real people in Western Massachusetts doing awesome things in real estate, whether they are builders, real estate agents, homeowners, landlords, economists that are specializing in housing development. There will be tons of awesome guests coming up, and I am with an amazing guest today. Hi, Theresa. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna a little bit of your bio. Real estate agent, first of all, is your primary job.
That is my primary job. Yeah,
okay,
that's first and foremost. Yeah.
You have a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people, I started as, with aspirations of doing other things. I have an acting degree and kind of did the acting thing for a while, did a lot of voiceover, did professional.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, I was an actor, and then I did professional voiceover work up until probably about a year ago. And then,
cool.
But all the while, like I've been licensed for 10 years, coming up on 10 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is all nothing then, just sitting here and chatting together because you
I
have
mean,
this
I
full
still,
acting.
no, I mean, I still
You're just
am
hiding that from me.
No, I still am like, okay, what do I do with my body?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's been a long time. It's a muscle, and so
yeah.
Better with
really
like
cool.
on radio with my voice.
Okay.
Once the camera comes on, I'm like, okay, I've done too much voiceover.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's so fun. Well, and that makes sense because you were in LA. So, yeah, tell me how. So you started off with your real estate license in LA.
Yep.
And then came here. How did you get into real estate originally?
Real estate. Oh my gosh.
Because now that I know you're an actress, I'm like in
Yeah.
awe of your.
Yeah. Well, so when obviously made the move to LA, I went to school in New York, grew up in Vegas, went to school in New York for acting, made the the obligatory move to Los Angeles to give it the old college try, and did work here and there for a long time. Ended up more in voiceover, and it just you have a family, life changes, and you got to figure out what you're going to do. And so I was like, okay, am I going to go back to college for what I was thinking at the time was to become an SLP, which is a speech language pathologist, or am I going to just spend a minimal amount of money and get my real estate license?
Right.
And so the real estate license was just like the easy, quick thing while I decided if I was going to go back to school. And I did that, got licensed in 2015, like 2 weeks before my son was born, and I never looked back. I just, I got really lucky in Los Angeles and worked a lot there. And then when we moved here in 2020, we were a pandemic move, and my husband grew up in Amherst. So when we moved here, I was like, well, I was really burnt out on real estate because pandemic real estate, as you know, was bonkers.
Crazy.
So I was like, maybe I'm going to go back to school. It's a college area, right? And then I was like, well, but it's easy just to get licensed again here. So I got licensed here, and then found a brokerage, brick and mortar.
There we go. Signed up on the mug.
Signed up with brick and mortar, Greg Stutzman, and ended up really being lucky enough to start working right away here. I mean, it was not what I expected. I expected to kind of
fell into place.
Yeah.
Well, so I think it's funny because you described getting your license as quick and easy, which it's getting licensed as a real estate agent, sure, but the actual job itself is the opposite.
I expected to have to build that business again because it had taken me like close to 3 or 4 years in Los Angeles just to get like, this is all I need to do for a living. But here I was like, well, I don't know anybody. I mean, like I have my husband's family. I'm starting all over again.
Right.
So I was really lucky. Like one of my strengths is being able to like convert a Zillow lead or like those cold leads. I'm pretty good at it.
What's
been
your
on
secret?
a team. I
Can
don't
you share it?
know. I don't know. Like, I just show up and I'm
maybe.
It's the voice.
I don't know.
That's
Is it the voice? Yeah.
I just show up and I try to be as personable as possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
Authentic.
So, and I really do care about first-time home buyers. A lot of people are like, buyers, first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
I love first-time home buyers. So, yeah.
Well, so how did you build your business in LA then?
Great question. I mean, I did the classic things that they tell you to do, right? I followed all the.
There's no easy button.
There's no easy way, but you you reach out to your sphere as your first and foremost. You're trying to like get people to like know that you're a real estate agent, and that's tough because if they know you're new, there's always going to be that weird thing, or they don't necessarily always want to work with their friends.
Sure.
But yeah, it was about doing that, and then getting onto I'd done it myself with mentors for a bit, and then I moved on to a team.
Okay.
And that was when I felt like I was getting a lot more leads fed to me. somebody was paying for the Zillow,
Sure.
and that really
A little bit more support.
yeah, and it helped me hone the skills that I needed in order to
Yeah.
convert a Zillow lead.
Right, right.
You know,
right.
yeah,
and then rather than feeling maybe isolated when you're on
Right.
your own, or when you get that question about how much experience do you
Oh my
have,
gosh,
you can
it's
lean on the team at least and say,
100%.
well,
Like
my team's
collectively,
done. Yes.
we've been working for
Yes.
25 years.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Which is huge, and having
It
the
is.
right, so that's great. So the
Yeah.
right mentorship, the right team,
Right.
and then you were able to
Yeah.
hone in those skills. And
Yeah, because it takes years. I mean, like I feel like 10 years in, I still come across things I've never seen.
oh gosh, yeah.
I see people in the Valley who've been doing it for decades upon decades, and they come across things. They
All
have
the time.
questions.
Mhm.
There's always something new, and so, I mean, the more you see, the more you know, the more
Right.
you can guide people. But
Right.
you know,
right.
you're always learning in this business.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and so working in the LA, California
Yeah.
in general has historically been lower inventory, high demand, crazy hot market all the time. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden we experienced that here in
I was
New
going to say
England.
it was somewhat seamless.
So
Because
did you
I'm just used
just
to
pull that right in?
I am so used to that,
So your
and
timing was right.
and here's the thing,
pandemic.
like, absolutely, like, I mean, and things are changing. It's definitely been like, oh, okay, this is the most normal market I've
Sure.
seen in years. But like, when I moved here, like, that was one of my pitches about working with me, is that like, look, my experience is working in hyper competitive
Right.
markets. I have tactics. I know how to write an offer
Right.
that people will be like, oh, what's this about? I can guide you
Sure.
to do that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the strengths,
Yeah.
because this market is and continues to be, like, in some areas,
Yeah,
like
some
Northampton,
pockets.
Amherst,
Yeah.
super competitive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you draw from the most that you feel like or give you an advantage, or that are similarities between your California market experience to here?
Oh, what do I draw from? Do you mean like, what do you like? What skills?
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
what do you
just
see that's similar?
What's
Really
similar?
anything.
Oh gosh, that's tough.
Or is it just different? The
It's-
vibe?
There's a lot of different. I mean, obviously it's totally different architecture.
Yeah.
It was a whole different like learning curve for me to learn like what an oil tank was.
Right?
Just
Yeah.
all the different
What about
heating
septic
things.
systems? Is that was like not a thing,
No,
right?
I had never dealt with a
Right.
Title V or a septic system. Like
Yeah.
there was a learning curve for me with that sort of thing. Everything's on town water, town sewer
Yeah.
in California. I think like the biggest thing that I drew experience-wise from there is like, I'm always going to be like I'm really good at educating buyers. I really love to I don't like to just be like, no, just write this check. No, I'll tell you what it's for later. I don't have time.
Right.
I want people to know exactly why they're doing all the different things.
Right.
And it's different process in Los Angeles than it is here. But what I think I just go back to in competitive situations, I know how to help a buyer's offer stand out.
Yeah.
Like help guide them to
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah. Which is so important, and making sure people are comfortable. Like you said, that's I think avoiding that buyer's remorse
Right.
feeling,
Yeah.
which is probably the
Oh my gosh.
worst.
And it still happens, but I think it's like people will have that initial buyer's remorse, and it always, I feel like every single time, like a year or two later, they're happy they bought the house.
Right.
Because people overthink things. Some buyers will overthink things, and they'll just that they can watch that the train of home ownership just slowly chug away
Right.
if they overthink every single thing. Oh, I want it to be the right rate. It needs to be the right layout. It needs to be. Sometimes you just have to buy in.
Right. Right. Exactly. Change the paint colors after.
Yes,
change the
100%.
Whatever else. It is hard. It's a huge rate. Probably the biggest thing somebody's going to
I
buy
know.
and spend money on. And
Yep.
I know, and I think it is hard because if you only do it 1 or 2 or 3 times in your lifetime, it does feel like that
So large.
commitment of marriage or something,
Yeah.
right? What else can you assimilate it to? But houses you can buy and sell, so that is a good point.
Yeah.
You don't have to love every single thing.
No, I mean,
about it.
and that's, I think, one of the biggest challenges of this current market we're in, that we're seeing, is that buyers have become I miss the pandemic buyer, miss the 2021 buyer who's like, it's fine, it's great, I'll fix
Sure.
it, whatever, I just need the house, I'm buying in. And they made good choices because now
Right.
they have a ton of equity in their homes.
Right.
But right now, because the prices are so high, you've got the interest rates so high, it's this really interesting thing that's starting to happen where buyers are very picky, or whether they're first-time buyers or if they're second-time buyers, and then second-time buyer and third-time buyers are a whole other thing.
There's a specific reason probably.
Yeah,
that
they're
moving.
Traumatized by their first time. So they know exactly what they want. It's a little bit more difficult, but it's been a tough like year and a half, 2 years of like, if things aren't perfect, if they can't negotiate exactly what they want after inspections, there's a lot of cancellations. Like this has been like the most cancellations I've ever had in my career.
Yeah. How do you prep, shifting gears a little bit to the listing side, to sellers, you know, when you're working with a seller, because people probably think, well, my neighbor's house sold a year ago and they listed it here and it sold for $100,000 over and they didn't have to do any repairs, right? Like, how do you plant those seeds and
well, it's really important.
Help prep them?
Yeah, it's really important in this market, like at that first appointment when you're talking to sellers, to really like inform them that this isn't the same market as 2 and 3 years ago, and that, you know, our job as realtors. Sorry, I like tap that.
That's okay. I hit my mic all the time. It's totally indestructible here.
I was like, it probably made a big sound. But our job as realtors is to know like the market to like the exact moment. Like it changes constantly, right?
You're the professional.
Everything is constantly changing, and like just because your neighbor sold something 6 months ago and they got a price or whatever, it closed even like a month ago, it can be different. So educating a seller is really important in that way. Like, you know, I'm not just going into an appointment and trying to get the listing by telling a seller exactly what they want to hear. The reality of the market is the reality of the market, right? So, and then the other thing that's really important is prepping a house. Like buyers right now, they just want to walk in and feel like they can just.
It's like HGTV.
Yeah.
It's all like
and
Chip
like,
and Joanna were here.
Yeah, and you don't have to like renovate, like, but you got to put your home's best foot forward. And if you're not working with a realtor who's not helping you do that. And I think that's like one of the differences I've seen in from moving out here to like LA. Like there was so much care, like
professionalism.
Well, there's just a lot of care that goes in because you have to stand out in LA. In LA, everything looks a certain way. It all starts to look the same after a while. But like out here, you know, houses can be a little quirkier. People stay in homes for a long time. So by the time they're moving out, like there's a lot of dated homes. So what can we as realtors do to help a seller prep a home for sale? You know, and that's
such an interesting difference in the markets.
Yeah, like everybody hires a stager in LA. Like here it's like, you want a stager? And they're like, what? Why would I do that? I love my furniture. And you're like,
totally love it too. Not all buyers.
Love it. It looks great. It looks great. And then meanwhile, I'm like bringing in all kinds of Chip and Joanna Target stuff to try to make it work.
And taking out maybe some of the personal belongings. And because when people have been in their homes for a long time.
People are collectors here. It's like, I don't know if it's like the Brimfield thing or the New England thing. People collect things.
Well, it is interesting. I've noticed when I'm, you know, you're just driving along and looking, and every few houses you can tell that there's either deferred maintenance or whatever, or just a lot of love. There's a lot of stuff.
And I do think like there's something to be said about the community because that's the case. Like Amherst is a lot of homes that like end up like that. And I'm sure Northampton too, but like I notice it a lot in Amherst. And I think that the thing that's the something to be said about that is that like this is a community that people move into these homes and they stay. And that's awesome. Like they age in place. It's very important to them. It's a very like I find that Amherst is and Northampton, the Valley in general, are very like elderly friendly. You know, not everybody has to move to Florida, you know? If you don't mind the cold, this is a great community, all ages, and it's like, you know, that's different than LA. LA, like, you know, you're older, then it's like
you're working with a specific demographic there versus here.
100%. And so I do think there's something to be said, but when it comes time to like prepping that house, it's like some hard truths have to come out and a deep clean, like hard truths and a deep clean.
So I feel like you must have, do you have any crazy experiences or is anything that you're wanting to broadcast about?
It's so funny. I've been trying to think, like, what is the craziest thing that ever happened to me in real estate?
Everything's crazy in real
Everything's
estate.
crazy.
No one, I mean, and I'm not saying crazy necessarily in literally bad off the rocker way.
Right.
But like you started off saying, every person's different.
Yeah.
Every home's different. Everybody comes with a story. And
Yeah.
it keeps it interesting.
Absolutely. And like, I'm trying, like, I think just this year, just how maybe the craziest thing that happened this year was a deal with you, like where our buyer, and it's so sad because like this is kind of the reality of where we're at right now and the market, et cetera. She was moving from California.
Yeah.
It was an awesome client because I can speak to like the difference between California buying in California and buying here.
Yeah.
She was really excited to be in the Valley. She had flown out for the inspection, but she landed in Boston, and I was like, what? She couldn't find a ride.
Right.
And so it was crazy. So she gets a cab all the way to Chicopee. She makes it for the last 5 minutes of the wrap up of the inspection.
Wow.
She's excited about the house. She's still moving forward. She signs the P&S, and the next day she loses her job.
Yes.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And so those are kinds of things that, like, you can't expect it. You can't expect it. And she was really excited.
Yeah.
And you feel like bad. I mean, first of all, it sucks for us. But like it
Yeah.
also really sucks for them.
Totally.
It's a really bad
Especially
situation.
after flying and all the
I
work
mean,
that gets into it, and
she flew in, and then she flew out right after the inspection.
Oh
she
my
literally
gosh.
only flew in for the inspection.
That's commitment,
Flew into Boston,
right?
got a cab ride to Chicopee, and then I drove her to Connecticut.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So all
you
that.
just never know. Yeah.
And
Oh, that's horrible.
Get the loan, so
that's definitely that's one of those fluke situations where it's just devastating. But there's got to be. I'm always like, there's some silver lining to it. Somebody I don't know. They're gonna find a better house or a
better
house
job
or a better job.
We'll help her when she's ready.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of those things like, signed the purchase and sale and lost the job.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. Every once in a while, there's just those like jaw-dropping conversations where you're like, oh, wow, okay, we don't have a solution here, right? I mean, it's just,
there's just nothing you can do.
Makes it tricky. And you started off by saying getting your license was quick and easy, but again, real estate, it's not quick and easy.
Oh, yeah. Like, I've always had a knack for like cramming for a test and like being able, but like, no, you like, just because you pass, you take all the courses and you pass,
go into the real life.
Then you're like, I had a million questions.
Yeah.
I needed that mentorship.
Yeah.
Like, you learn on the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely learn
So
on
you
the
came
job.
here, you got with Brick and Mortar.
Yeah.
Great brokerage to be with. And it's been 5 years now, right? Basically.
It is coming up on 5 years. We landed here on October 22nd. I think I joined Brick and Mortar the following September. So it'll be I guess 4 years with Brick and Mortar. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know some of your experience was in leasing too.
Oh yeah.
Do you okay, you laughed there, so I've got to know why that was.
Yeah, so I had started my career working because I was like, well, how do I feel about real estate in general?
Yeah.
So I worked for a property management company in Los Angeles before I was licensed.
Yeah.
that was wild.
It was chosen.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just like working, with leases and like showing apartments, working with leases. I used to screen
Potential
tenants
Wow.
and stuff, and so that was. I mean, there were a lot of stories there, but so that was where I started my experience, and then I was like, well, I think what happened was one of the tenants who had gotten into an apartment, she called me a year later and was like, hey, I'm ready to buy.
Wow.
And I was like,
that's
I'm
awesome.
not licensed.
Yeah. like I better go take that test.
I better go take that test.
Yeah.
And so she ended up working with somebody else because I wasn't going to be ready.
Right.
But it just kind of was like, wait, why am I not licensed? Like, that's where the money is,
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of decided to make that transition too. So yeah.
And has that helped you at all? Do you feel like it gives you an affinity for working with investors more, or multifamilies, or maybe you decided you don't want to work with that avenue?
Well, it's different, right? So when I was just doing the leasing thing, obviously we were working for investors and people who were buying multifamilies.
Yeah.
One of my first mentors at Coldwell Banker in Los Angeles was a multifamily specialist named Craig O'Rourke, who is incredible. He actually teaches a course on like getting into multifamilies because some people, you know, who just want to like learn and invest in that way, which is brilliant, by the way. And he's fantastic. He wrote a book. He has, I'm plugging Craig over, but he is fantastic.
We'll tag him.
So he has like, you know, video series, and he also has a book. He's just an all-around great guy. He was one of my first like mentors. And so I had only wanted to show pretty houses and like do residential, but like my mentor was multifamily, and he was giving me clients. And so I learned a lot about like, you know, cap rates and like different, just like what's a good investment versus what's not. And, you know, out here, I like get so excited because in LA, it's like, it's slim pickings and there's a lot of rent control, and there's a lot of, you know, cash for keys out there, which I don't know if you know what that is, but you have to like pay out like tenants for like thousands and thousands of dollars just to get a multifamily property to a place where it will cash flow or at least have a higher cap rate. Anyhow, but I get really geek when I talk about multifamilies, but I love them, right?
Like, and that's the important part of it, because you've got to make sure it's going to cash flow.
Exactly. And so, but here, there's like so much opportunity for like income property here because of the 5 colleges. It's just like the cap rates here, I get so excited. Like I'm like, they're so much higher. Like you're looking at more like 3%, like as being good in like a lot of parts of Los Angeles, at least for years until you get it to a place where it appreciates and the rents go up. And here, like you could cash flow right away with the right property. So I don't know, I get really excited about investment property.
Do you see the multifamily market here any difference compared to single family? I mean, I know there's been so much demand. It's kind of stabilized a little bit on the single family side, but what do you see with multis?
With multis, well, they're like few and far between,
I was
right?
gonna say, probably even less.
But like, you know, there's so much opportunity for like multifamilies, and like if you keep your eyes open in Chicopee and Holyoke, there's some really exciting places, you know, and especially if a buyer is going to live in one unit and then like rent out the other, if they've got like, if they want to do that, that's like why not? Like,
definitely.
And not everybody, it's
people
not
call it
for
house
everybody.
hacking. Or the, what is it? Buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat, right? So you're kind of drawing money out of your next house and buying it. I love meeting people who are down for it. Like I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think a lot of people think they can do it when in fact they could. You know, it's just like, it's scary for a lot of people. So. And it's kind of a trend. I've noticed actually a lot of younger buyers who call me. They're like, I want to hack houses. I'm like, all right, let's do it. What do you mean? Exactly.
And they're learning, and that's great. Like,
it is. Right. There's so much information out there, and then it's just finding the, you know, professionals to actually make it happen.
It's the surest way to build wealth, especially if you're young. I mean, like, I don't think on my career alone I would have been able to, like, you know, put money away or have any kind of savings the way that we have, simply because we stretched and invested in our first property in 2013 in Los Angeles, which we still have. We were going to sell it, but we held on to it. It's a rental. It's appreciated. Amazing. It's like double. It's worth like double now, you know? So, and then to buy another property, and then like, you know, I'm always got the wheels turning. My husband's like, that's enough. And I'm like, we need to buy more property. It's like the best way to build wealth. I do the same thing. Text me at 3 a.m. because I'm looking at it.
So speaking of doing other things, so your other business, which is CrèmeBru.LA, I just learned, not CrèmeBru.LA.
But everybody in Massachusetts calls it CrèmeBru.LA, and I think it's adorable. So because what is the like, people are not like Right. I guess that's true. We're less connected to LA. But so tell us a little bit about that business. And if listeners haven't tried it, this is, look out for CrèmeBru.LA. I'm still going to say CrèmeBru.LA. That's okay. I actually like it. It's cute. So CrèmeBru.LA or CrèmeBru.LA, whatever you decide to call it, was born during the pandemic when my husband and I were bored and started making creme brulee in our kitchen. And then we were like, hey, does anybody want to like buy creme brulee from us? And people started like coming, because like, you couldn't get creme brulee in a fancy restaurant.
Line down your neighborhood. That's so fun.
It was so fun. And so and my husband, like, it's really like my husband's baby. And like, we're driving across country in an RV, and he was like, what would you think if I, you know, tried to do the business in Massachusetts, and we did like some farmers markets, and I was like, okay, maybe. Like, I couldn't think of anything except like, we're getting out of LA,
Sure.
we're moving to a brand new place, it's a pandemic, and he's like, how about my creme
Let's
brulee
try-
business?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. And then he like didn't mention it again, and he's like, hey, I got into this farmers market. So we got into the Amherst farmers market, and we're like, all right, well, let's see how we can do this. We rent a kitchen at Atkins,
Okay.
Atkins store. I don't know if
Yeah.
you farm store.
Of course.
They have a kitchen you can rent, like a certified kitchen.
That's great.
So we do all the things right. We start making this creme brulee, and it's a hit. And we're like, oh, okay, then maybe there's something here. And that was, 4 years ago as
Yeah.
well. And we got in and just did the Big E, which was like next level.
Unbelievable.
We didn't know what to expect. And so we sold 7,000 jars of creme brulee.
That's unreal.
Unreal. We went kind of like a little viral, so it was super awesome.
I saw all your videos. I kept seeing you popping up.
It was really awesome. It was
So
really good to us.
congratulations.
It was really
That's
exciting.
amazing.
He's really excited. Like it's a lot of work because he has a full-time technology job.
Right.
I have this as a full-time job.
Right.
And we have a child with special needs. We
Right.
have an autistic child.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of moving pieces, but somehow like this business that we're always like, oh, should we quit? Should we do it? Should we keep going? Should we quit? Like, because it's the
And
ups
it
and
just
downs of
surprises you when you sell
Big E,
7,000 jars of the
7,000
Big E.
jars of creme brulee,
That's
and then you're like, well,
unbelievable.
now we can't give it up. Like, and so
Yeah.
it's like, it's really exciting. We're doing a couple
That's
more.
fabulous.
Yeah, we're doing a couple more events. We do the Food Truck Fridays. We've got a couple of those dates coming out. You can check our Instagram
That's
at
awesome.
CrèmeBru.LA.
at CrèmeBru.LA.
Okay.
And you can see where we're going to be next. We're going to be at the Paradise City Arts
Oh,
Festival.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And yeah, people like their creme brulee, and
that's so great.
it's wild. That whole thing is a wild ride, and we're so lucky that we have like the best like staff and workers who help us
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how we would do it by ourselves.
Yeah, I'm sure at 3 in the morning for the Big E when you were trying to fill the rest of the orders for the time.
Yeah, I
That's
know. I was like
awesome.
literally in the kitchen making 700 jars
Yeah.
a day.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. Well, congratulations. That's
Thank
really
you.
cool.
Thank you.
And for our viewers too, we were trying to figure out there's some other word for work-life balance. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
balance, but did that come to you yet? Because
No,
it
it's like
still hasn't come
work-life-
to me, but
It's like work-life balance, but it was like work-life something like balance.
whatever it is,
but
it's never balanced though. I have to
it's
say, that's
never.
one of my least favorite work-life. You just have to find your work-life balance.
No.
I'm like, I don't have balance.
I know. It's like a give or a take sometimes.
Exactly.
Like some things suffer,
Yeah.
and like it all seems to work out. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's so hard. Like, how do you like take care of yourself? Like for me, that's like the last
I was gonna
thing.
say, yeah,
'Cause once you have
self is
kids, you have like 2 little
Yeah.
ones, and you're
Yeah.
like have a marriage to nurture,
Right.
and then you have this job, like you're running a team
Right.
of people, and then
right. Side projects, all these different
you
things that
take
we want to
care
do.
of
But
yourself.
yeah,
like,
so it's not balanced, but it's some kind of.
I can't remember.
Somebody comment. Somebody tell us at some point.
I know.
So,
I'm literally gonna be walking out and think of the
and
word.
you'll
and be
remember.
Like, dang it.
Text me if you do.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Great.
thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
a
for
guest
having
today.
me.
This has been so much fun.
Yeah.
And thank you to our viewers and listeners for tuning in to Real People Real Estate. We hope you were inspired by Theresa's awesome stories and energy. And if you want to be a guest too, just message me. Always looking for openings, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks.